Good day, everyone. Welcome to Action Research Group, which will be presented by Miss Combo, Miss Olis, and Miss Postrero. This would be our outline in this presentation. So, first, what is action research? So, action research is a type of qualitative research methodology that looks into problems and attempts to solve or have an action or solution to those problems. Its methods includes actions, evaluations, and reflections. And it is a process to gather evidence to implement change in practices. So this method was first coined as a term in 1944 by Professor Kurt Lewin. Action research is particularly popular with educators as a form of systematic inquiry because it prioritizes reflection and bridges the gap between theory and practices. That is why sometimes it is called as a cycle of notion or a cycle of inquiry. So, action research is also learning by doing, where it involves a group of people identifying a problem, doing something to resolve it, seeing how successful their efforts were, and if not satisfied, they will try again. So, when do we use this method? Action research is utilized in real circumstances rather than contrived and experimental investigations because its primary objectives is to solve real problems. Often, it is used in the social sciences, particularly in educational settings. Specifically in education setting, action research is an approach that is commonly used by educational practitioners and professionals in order to examine and ultimately improve their pedagogy and practices.
Now, I will present the process of action research. I will present two models. The first one will be the basic action research cycle. In this model, it starts by planning, and just like any other research, we should first determine the problem of the study. These problems are either something that can be seen or experienced inside the classroom or within the school community. Once the teacher determined the problem and gathered enough data, the teacher can now start with action plan to improve practice. The next step will be the implementation part in which the teacher will engage in action based on what was included in the action plan. This will now be followed by the observation part. After implementation, the teacher will engage in a cycle of experimentation and data collection. Data collection can be done through classroom observations, interviews, or surveys. In this step, the teacher will organize the collected data and look for specific trends. And lastly, the reflection part. Here, the teacher will analyze and interpret the results of the study to understand what worked and what didn't. These steps involve reflecting on the data collected to evaluate the impact of intervention and make any necessary adjustments. Second model will be the spiral model of action research by chemist and McTaggart in 2004. This model highlights the continuous and repetitive process of development where each cycle of work builds on the previous one. Just like the previous model, it will start with the planning phase to address specific issues or to implement change. This will be followed by acting and observing, the phase where the plan is now being put into action. In this phase, the teacher is now gathering data and providing feedback on the effectiveness of the plan. After observation, the teacher will now reflect and analyze the research findings to determine what worked and what didn't. Based on what was reflected, the teacher will now conduct revisions and will formulate a revised plan to improve the previous plan. Once the new plan has been formulated, this will now be implemented and observed the same way in the initial cycle. The teacher will conduct a second reflection to determine if the revisions were successful or will it require further interventions. This continuous cycles allows the teacher to ensure that improvements are made progressively throughout each cycles.
For our first sample study, this is a foreign study entitled An Action Research Study in an Icelandic Preschool Developing Consensus About Values and Values Education, authored by Sigurdardóttir and Einarsdóttir in 2016. And included here is the abstract of the study. Basically, the study is about values education in early childhood education and care in Icelandic preschool. This study focuses on preschool teachers, where three values was focused on during the action research project, namely care, respect, and discipline. The findings show that the participating preschool teachers emphasize children's participation and development of social skills, where it also appeared in the study that the preschool teachers strongly valued mutual understanding and meaningful interactions with the children. So, why did it use action research? Action research was used in this article since it is seen as an effective way to gain better understanding and improve practice, and furthermore to increase and empowerment of the teacher. So, how did it use action research? They used three methods, namely journal, second is audio recordings, and then interviews. And they were able to analyze their data using semantic analysis in order to see patterns and themes.
As for the second article, it is a local study entitled Improving the Basic Writing Skills of Grade 7 Learners in Filipino, an Action Research in Filipino Language, written by Joey Ramos Cabito in 2021. The study aims to remediate the low level of basic writing skills, particularly in cursive, capitalization, punctuation, spelling, and paragraphing of grade 7 learners in Filipino class in a government high school. The researchers conducted assessment of learners' writing competency through pre-test and post-test, developed and implemented writing exercises, and reinforced progress monitoring through home visitations involving both teachers and parents. A 5-point rating scale was utilized in assessing learners' output. The study demonstrated a 1.56 increase in the general rating from pretest to post-test, showing that 80% of the learners improved their basic writing competencies. This proves that the interventions were effective in enhancing the learner's writing skills. The research emphasizes the critical role of teachers in sparking students' interest in writing and the need for tailored learning activities and worksheets based on individual learners' needs. The researcher used action research since this study addresses a specific classroom issue, which is the low level of basic writing skills among grade 7 learners, making action research a suitable approach to directly tackle this issue. The use of action research allows teachers to continuously improve the teaching and learning process given its iterative nature, meaning the teacher can implement interventions, assess its effectiveness, and make necessary adjustments based on the student's outcomes.
Good day, I'm teacher Danisha. Now we will talk about the third sample that utilized the method. We have foreign study titled Participatory Action Research developed the teachers on classroom action research by Siriborn Sematon 2023. So this research aims to investigate the status states, problems, and needs of teachers in conducting classroom action research. It was conducted using a mixed research method involving 8 teachers from Watwayang School under Nakonsawan Primary Education Service, Office Area 1. The research was conducted from June 2021 to April 2022 using participatory action research or for in the four steps of planning, action, monitoring, reflection. So the data collection tools included questionnaires, structured interviews, supervisions, monitoring records, evaluation form, and tests. The study found that teachers at Watwayang School had a low status states in classroom action research with high levels of problems and needs. The goal of developing classroom action research was organized by experienced scholars and teachers followed the research types. Post-workshops, training improved teachers' understanding of the classroom and then produce high-quality work. So in this research, they use a participatory action research of far from those who are involved in the in development of teachers in classroom such as a school administrator and teachers by following the concept of participatory action research of Chemis and McTaggart 2011. So and the target group was 8 teachers of Watwayang School under the Nakon Primary Educational Service Office Area 1 who applied to participate in self-development classroom research obtained to purposive selection. So, in this research, they have 5 set tools to collect the information. First is a questionnaires on the problems and needs of teachers doing classroom research. These questionnaires have two parts. The first part is general information about the respondents, and the second part is a question about problems and needs for teachers' development in classroom research. The second set is a structured interview form. The first is the interview form for asking teachers problems and needs in classroom research. Second is a classroom research practice interview form. And the last third is all about the classroom research practice after practice interview form. Third is the question on the classroom research with a multiple choice, four options, totally of 20 questions. And the fourth is the supervisions, follow-up, and evaluation record form for a classroom research. And lastly, for the fifth is the classroom research evaluation form aims to assess the research report quality of the research participants after the end of the classroom research. In this slide, we will talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of this method. Now we will talk about the advantages. So the first bolt is immediate application research is embedded in real-world issues application, immediate integration of findings for community or organizational improvement. So it is lets researchers quickly use their findings to make improvements right away. For example, if a school is struggling with student engagement, action research can provide solutions that can be applied in the classroom almost immediately, leading to a faster and more relevant improvements for the student and teachers. So second is empowering methodology participants actively shape the research process, giving them ownership over the journey and the outcome. So yeah, it's like it makes them feel more involved and in control. When participants have a say in this research, they are more likely to be committed to the changes and improvements. But this can be leading to better result and more lasting impact. So the third is adaptability. Researchers can adjust approaches based on the feedback, ensuring the research remain relevant in the evolving context. So in this bulk, it's helped the researcher to stay useful and effective even as a condition or needs change. For example, if a new challenge arises during the study, researchers can quickly adjust their approaches to address it, making sure their work is remain relevant and helpful. And last is comprehensive understanding. This form of research a harmonious theoretical knowledge with practical insight, providing a richer understanding of the issue. So in this part, it provides a more complete, clear view of the problem by linking what is known in theory with what is learned from practical experiences. Researchers can be develop deeper and more effective solutions. So in this slide, we will talk about the disadvantages. For the first bullet is interactive nature can extend research timeline. So it can make a research process take longer. So each cycle of testing and adjusting can extend the overall time before the reaching final conclusion or solution. Next, the intimate researchers participant involvement can lead to conflicts because in our action research, involvement between research and participant can sometimes lead to conflicts because the personal interests or opinions might be clash. For example, if our researchers and the participant have different goals or views, it can cause disagreements and make it harder to work together effectively. Next, for the third is a focus on a specific context may limit applicability of result. So it might limit how well the result apply other settings or group. For example, solution that work well in one school might not be as effective in another school with different condition. For the third, for the fourth, deep collaboration requires deep investment from all stakeholders. So it can be a challenging to get all stakeholders to invest the necessary resources and energy without a full participation. So it might be the research not be effective or successful. And the last is a frugality may not always be achievable due to the need for a high level of commitment. So it is trying to keep costs low, and however, if achieving this can be difficult because this high level of commitment required from everyone involved often demand more resources, time, and effort. So this means the research might end up being more expensive and resource intensive than initially planned.